Soy Gary otra vez. Estoy aquí hoy para hablar sobre un modismo. I'm here today to speak about an idiom in Spanish. It's a very, very common one, and it's actually used in the first chapter in the workbook. You hear this idiom all the time, so it's a good idea to understand it. And the idiom is tener que. Literally, if you pick apart the words, literally tener is the normal verb that means to have something. Can be used either literally, tengo una caja, I have a box. Or it can be used more figuratively. Tengo hambre, I have hunger, or in other words, I'm hungry. But tener is also used in a large number of non-literal expressions in Spanish, like tengo sed, I'm thirsty, or tengo hambre, I'm hungry. And one of these non-literal uses is very, very much like how we use the word have in English when we say, I have to go to the store now. You're saying that you need to do something. And the Spanish construction is very, very similar to that. And that's what I want to talk about today. In Spanish, we would say, if I want to say, I have to go to the store, the most common way to say it would be, tengo que ir a la tienda. Tienda is a store. So tengo que ir means I have to go. Tengo que lavarme, I need to wash up. Tengo que comprar un libro, I need to buy a book. So you see that it's tengo que plus the infinitive of some verb. Means that I have to do that verb. More examples. Tengo que ir a la iglesia ahora mismo. I have to go to the church right now. Use it for, not for me, but for you. One example would be, tienes que llevar tu libro a la clase. You need to bring your book to class. So it can be used in a lot of expressions like that. It can be another way it can be used is, and it's really the same thing, I could say, es posible que tenga que llevar mi libro. It's possible that I have to bring my book. So anywhere that you would use that have to construction, you can use tener que in Spanish. Literally, it means I have that to do something. But as you know, idioms never translate word for word from one language to another. It may seem a little strange if you learn that the word que means that. Or what. In actuality, in Spanish, Spanish is not just sort of a secret way to speak English with words substituted or something. It's its own language. And so when we say the word que in Spanish means that, in English, what we really should say is the word que and that can be used similarly in the two languages. But they're not the same. And so there's actually a number of constructions that have que meaning something other than the word that in English. This is one example. Another example is I could say, I have more than you. Tengo más que tú. Alright, so I'm using que there as sort of like the word than in English. Alright, so just remember that construction, tener que. Tengo que ir, I have to go. Tienes que ir, you have to go. Tenemos que ir, we have to go. When it's tenemos, a lot of times, and this is just a little listening tip for you, you'll hear a lot of times, a lot of Spanish speakers will jam together the tenemos and que, and they'll pretty much drop off the S. So if they were going to say, we need to go, instead of tenemos que ir, the S and the K together is kind of a little bit hard to say. So a lot of people, including myself usually, would say, tenemos que ir. All right, something along those lines. The other thing that I wanted to say about tener que is that there is another idiom, and this is actually the one that's used in your workbook, that's used with tener que, and that is tener que ver. Literally, it means have to see, but in fact, the way you use it is the way in English we would use the expression have to do with. So I could say eso tiene que ver con something else. So with, con means with. And so that would mean this thing has something to do with the other thing. That's exactly how it's used in your workbook. It can either be used by itself, esto tiene que ver con eso, this has to do with that, or you can put other modifiers in there like the word nada, meaning nothing, or todo, meaning everything, or algo, meaning something. So you can say esto means this, and eso means that. So I could say, esto tiene que ver con eso. This has to do with that. I could also say, esto tiene nada que ver con eso. Okay, so it has nothing to do with that. Or if I want to emphasize the positive, I could say, esto tiene todo que ver con eso. This has everything to do with that. Or if you just want to say a little bit, it has a little something to do with it, you could say, esto tiene algo que ver con eso. All right? So you can use those modifiers in there, and you'll hear people do that. As you can see, just like in English, this is normally used in an impersonal kind of a way. You're not saying that I don't have anything to do with him or that object, but more the object has nothing to do with me, or one object or person has nothing to do with another. So that is the idiom that I wanted to give you today. Remember, tengo que ir, I have to go. Tienes que llevar, you have to carry or bring. And then the special usage of it, which is esto no tiene nada que ver con eso. All right? All right, well, happy Spanish learning, and we'll see you next time. Hasta luego.